The fastest way to make someone do the opposite is to tell them what to do, even when the advice is good. That happened to me this week. Someone said, "You should try this," and I felt it. Not anger, just resistance. Give me a few minutes. I think there's a reason for that reaction. Lately, I've started noticing something else. It's not just people, it's everything. My phone suggests how I should sleep. An app tells me when I should focus. Articles explain what successful people do at 5 a.m. Even videos like this one are always offering some kind of improvement. It's subtle, but it builds. After a while, it starts to feel like I'm always missing something, like I'm almost doing it right, just not quite. And after a while, even a simple sentence, "You should try this," doesn't land as neutral anymore. It lands like I've done something slightly wrong. I don't think people mean it that way. Most of the time, they genuinely want to help. But when you're already surrounded by quiet suggestions all day, even kindness can feel like pressure. I've caught myself reacting more strongly than the situation deserved, not arguing quieter. I just get quieter, a little less open than I was a minute ago. And that's the part that surprised me. It wasn't about the advice itself, it was about how tired I was of being optimized. A few days after that, I was talking to a friend. We were just walking, nothing heavy. At some point he said, "You should probably handle that differently." He didn't make a big deal out of it. It was casual, almost offhand. And I felt that shift again. I said, "Yeah, maybe," but I could already feel myself pulling away a little. I started explaining things he hadn't even questioned, adding context he didn't ask for. And I caught myself thinking, why am I defending this so hard? Looking back, I don't even think it was about what he said. It was just that small moment where it stopped feeling like my decision. And I reacted before I had time to think about it. It's called reactance, the instinct to push back when something feels like it's steering you. There's no decision involved. It's just there. You can see it in small things. Tell a kid not to press a button, that button suddenly becomes fascinating. Say to an adult, "You need to do this," and the whole mood changes. What's interesting is that it's not always loud. Sometimes it's just distance, a slight withdrawal, a decision to think about it that quietly turns into a no. I've done that more than once, nodded in the moment, then ignored the advice later. Not out of rebellion, just because something in me didn't like the feeling of being directed. I started noticing something else too. It wasn't always the advice itself. Sometimes it was just a single word. "You should." That phrase does something, even when it's said gently. I've heard it in relationships. "You should take this more seriously." I've heard it at work. "You should approach it differently." And on the surface, those sentences are reasonable, but they don't feel neutral. There's a subtle shift when someone moves from sharing an idea to implying a direction. I've realized I react less to, "Have you thought about trying this?" and more to, "You should try this." The difference is small, but inherently it doesn't feel small. One sounds like space, the other sounds like steering. And the thing is, it doesn't stay small. One comment is nothing, a suggestion here and there, fine. But when you're already surrounded by constant improvement, it starts to stack. Advice from friends, productivity tips online, articles about how you should think, eat, work, sleep. After a while, it all blends together. Even helpful input starts to feel like correction. I've noticed that on days when I'm already stretched, tired, distracted, a little behind, my reactions get sharper. It's not that the advice changes. I do. I'm not as open as I usually am. I'm already half closed off. And when someone adds one more suggestion, something in me quietly says, that's enough. It's not dramatic. I just need a bit of space. And that's when I realized something uncomfortable. Sometimes I wasn't rejecting bad advice. I was rejecting the feeling of not being in control. There were moments when the suggestion actually made sense. I could see that. But accepting it would have meant admitting that someone else saw the solution before I did. And that didn't sit well. I've built this image of myself as someone who figures things out alone. So instead of adjusting, I delayed, or I ignored it, or I told myself I'd come back to it later. The idea wasn't even the problem. It just didn't feel like it came from me. After sitting with this for a while, I started noticing something simple. I react very differently when someone asks instead of tells. Have you thought about trying this? Feels different from you should try this. The idea could be exactly the same. It just feels different in the body. And I've realized the same thing applies the other way around. When I give advice, I can feel it too. The moment I shift from offering a thought to steering someone. It's subtle, but people feel it. I don't think it's the advice we hate. It's the managed feeling. When something feels like it's mine, I lean in. When it feels placed on me, I step away. And maybe that's the shift. Not trying to eliminate advice, just leaving room for ownership. Giving people room to get there themselves. I'm still catching myself doing it sometimes, reacting faster than I mean to. But at least now I notice it. I'm curious, what kind of advice triggers you the most? Is it work, family, relationships, or is it just the tone?